revealing the mystery of an enchanted life, Murdo MacDonald-Bayne. It has been said, when the student is ready the master appears, for according to the student's capacity to receive so will he receive. The word truth has a tremendous meaning. Thousands, yes, millions have heard the word but have failed to comprehend its meaning. Truth is the understanding of oneself, and to understand ourselves we must realize the source of our being, not born of flesh or of the will of man but of the Spirit of God. We must not only search the outer but also the inner. For he who lives in truth is not afraid to proclaim the truth. He knows he is spirit and lives in God while living in the flesh. He is able to discern his thoughts and actions so that he can correct the errors when he sees them. He knows that his life is continuous in and out of the body of flesh, for he realizes that he lives in God and God lives in him. This makes him strong and full of optimism, and he looks to the bright side of things. In the dark corners he makes the sun shine and walks through life with a smile, singing the song of joy. Everyone is pleased to see him because he brings that breath of fresh air which is so much needed in the life of everyone. He inspires faith because he knows he lives in absolute faith and is eternally safe, and he knows also that absolute faith lives in him. He carries the message of help and courage, for he loves all life, knowing that life alone lives and he is one with it. He is not afraid of sickness and death. He knows these impostors for what they are and is able to deal with both in a way that gives courage and faith to others. He gives help where it is needed. He is not inquisitive nor does he speak scandal, because he knows as a man thinketh in his heart so is he. He helps others to help themselves, for he is free from worry and fear, and shows the way to others so that their loads can also be made light. He forgives readily, for he knows that forgiveness is the first fruits of the elect. He is always tolerant, knowing the weakness of the flesh. He is devoid of hate, envy, and malice, because he knows that to indulge in them breeds their kind. He knows that to be with the Lord he must act as the Lord, for he knows the law, as a man soweth so shall he reap. He radiates love to all, for he knows that in essence he himself is love. It is the Father who ever remaineth within him is performing his own deeds. He has seen the Christ, the Son of Love, with the power of the omnipotent healing balm. He minds his own business, for he knows that mortal error is prevalent everywhere and he does not add to it, but dissolves it away by that inner understanding, that error has no power of its own. Yet when asked to intervene his wisdom is as great as Solomon's. He pours oil on troubled waters and soothes the mind and frees it from disturbance so that the ineffable spirit can reign in the hearts of all. Thus he creates harmony where inharmony once existed. He establishes truth where there was error, and error is no more. He goes through life joyously. Things that drive others to despair and misery leave him in a calm and undisturbed state of mind. He has already realized that he is one with the power that overcomes all things. His power comes from within, for he knows that the Father of love, wisdom, and power is there. For the Creator of heaven and earth does not dwell in temples made by human hands but in the very inner sanctuary of his own being. Therefore he realizes that he is the temple of the living God. He makes this the dominant truth in his mind and is free from all fear and doubt. He is like the ocean that receives all streams and rivers, yet the ocean's mighty calm is unmoved. And all who come in contact with him feel his power and receive his encouragement. He attracts love and friends, for the law of attraction is always in operation. Yet he is not dependent upon the love of the individual. Nor is he dependent upon things, although all these come to him as his right. He knows a higher law, so he becomes the giver of every good gift, and the more he gives, the more he gets in return. Given it shall be given unto you again, pressed down and running over. He acknowledges the law and the law responds, yet he knows that he is above the law, for he is one with the Creator of law. He is at home with all classes of people. The rich and the poor are all alike to him, for he does not seek what they have. He also realizes that the least ye do unto one of these, so you have done unto me. He feeds the soul, for he knows that when the soul is clothed with the riches of the Spirit, the body and circumstances together will be the outpicturing of that which the soul perceives. If the soul perceives true riches, so shall it be in the outer. If the soul perceives limitation and frustration, so shall it be in the outer. He knows the law of cause and effect and is content to leave it at that, for he knows that the results shall be in accordance with the law. He is not interested in what other people have, for he knows the source of supply and can draw what he wants and when he requires it. All people are one to him, for he knows that they are all children of his own Father God. Some may be further down the ladder of unfoldment than others, but he also realizes that the last may be first and the first may be last. He is welcome in all homes, for he brings that atmosphere that disperses gloom. Children cling to his coat and climb onto his knees. They feel the presence of love that cannot harm, for such as these make up the kingdom of heaven. He loves all that lives, and all that lives responds to his nature. The sinner and the saint are the same to him. He sees the good in the sinner and does not look for the weakness in the saint. He knows there is none good but God. He knows his own shortcomings and never casts a stone. He has already taken the plank out of his own eye, so he does not look for the splinter in his brother's eye. The outcast recognizes him as a brother because he knows he will not be condemned but forgiven and helped back to the place where God sees him. He makes all understand that God is no respecter of persons and gives to all without question. To him that asketh in faith, so shall he receive. His spirit speaks to the spirit in others, for the prodigal son is again in the Father's house, feasting at the Father's table, and no one can keep him out. The woman who has passed through the furnace of life trusts him, for he gives his love and wisdom and points the way to true happiness. He knows that God never withholds his love from his most disobedient child, neither does he withhold that love of God from his brother or sister, but shares their troubles, for he understands, he has experienced the way himself. He knows all great people in the world have passed the same way and are mellowed by the experience of life, and when understanding comes they do not regret these experiences but rejoice in their uplifting power. Nearer, my God, to thee, even though it be a cross that raises me. So he neither pities nor condemns, because he knows that all are conquerors if they will conquer. He finds joy in his work, he is happy in his doing, no matter in what capacity he is engaged. He never hurries nor is he rushed, for he knows that time does not control him. He is attuned to the eternal. He has absolute faith in the absolute power of which he has become aware. He praises his beloved, for he is in love with God, who to him is brother, sister, mother, father, child, and sweetheart. He is full of love, because he loves with all his heart and soul the loving Father whom he can speak to, for he knows he hears. There is no secret between them, they are as one, always welded together. He knows he is one with all life and loves life because he knows it to be the same as the life within himself. He believes in the all-good, for he knows that nothing else is real. His outlook is colored by the inner vision of the Christ of God, the only true Son that dwells in the heart of every man, woman, and child, for he knows that in every child that is born there is born the Spirit of God. In all situations he seeks divine justice and is guided, for in that moment he knows what to do and what to say. He has acquired the knack of listening to God speaking for him. He is simple, loving, kind, for he follows in the footprints of the Master. He is the promise of a better world, a world where peace and goodwill will reign in all hearts, for this is the plan of the Almighty. He has decreed it and it shall come to pass. I saw the new heaven and the new earth, for the former heaven and earth had passed away. And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, descending from God out of heaven, all ready like a bride arrayed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice out of the throne, crying, Lo, God's dwelling place is with men. With men will he dwell, they shall be his people, and God will himself be with them. He shall wipe every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. No more wailing, no more crying, no more pain, for the former things have passed away. Then he who was seated on the throne said, Lo, I make all things new. And he said, Write this, these words are trustworthy and genuine. Benediction. O lovely Father, Mother God, as I awakened I gazed upon thy face of wisdom and love, and thou beckoned me through thy gates of light. My pleasure dreams faded into the omniscient light enfolding them. All that I could ever seek, for all that I could ever crave, for thou hast given to me, O cosmic Mother of love, to gaze upon thy face forever. My peace and my love remain with you. Yours sincerely, 𝗏 MacDonald-Bayne.